Good Wednesday evening, folks. Welcome to Unbearable 73. I'm starting 15 minutes early. Uh, this is a Grumpier, not so old men evening. Stephen Ransom. We're popping in around 11 o'clock. Just want to get the videos live and make sure we're talking about stuff. Good Wednesday evening, folks. Welcome to Unbearable 73. Starting 15 minutes early. The Grumpier, not so old men evening. Stephen Ransom. We're popping in around 11 o'clock. Just want to get the videos live. Also want to check the audio levels. Any better now? Let's see. I'm playing with it a little bit. Also want to check the audio levels. Any better now? Let's see. I'm playing with it a little bit. So YouTube is. Because I know that works from when I talk to people and they hear it clearly, so I'm not going to go crazy over it. I will mute the audio on that end. Yeah, it's been a strange week, having some health issues going on. Yeah, I don't know where I get the infection in my leg. Hoping to avoid some hospitalization on that. I got my doctor to give us antibiotics. Always, whenever you see something funny on your skin, little scratch, treat it properly, bathe it, put your antiseptic on it. If it turns red within 3 or 4 days, call your doctor, get the antibiotics right away. Okay? So that all being said, otherwise been a good week, quiet week for work. I'm on call. Haven't gotten too much call for it. So let's, while we're waiting for Stephen, I have one thing I want to sort of complain about, right? This whole thing with Henry Cavill, Man of Steel, to The Rock and all that. Black Adam is an awesome movie, truly awesome. Okay, I mean, and on a scale of comic book movies, it's probably like that one that's in the top 5 to me. Yeah, maybe I'm judging it down because, like, how I say, because there's so many of them are so bad. But this thing, he captures the essence of Black Adam. It plays very well. It's entertaining. He doesn't go full Bialia and make Black Adam evil and all that. So it looks like he wants to play the borderline anti-hero Black Adam, which is good. I'm okay with that. So that being said, that got us Henry Cavill back as Superman. And if there's one guy alive today who can play Superman, it's Henry Cavill. And apparently the guy got fired who was blocking him for 8 years. The Rock got him fired. Now, I'm not sure about Peter Gunn and James Gunn and this other guy taking over the DCU. The DCU is now the DCU. And, they're butting head with The Rock. Not sure and all that. But Henry Cavill has said it's going to be a hopeful, normal Superman, not this Zack Snyder dreck. Okay? So that's good. And on the side effect of that, Henry Cavill has left The Witcher. And he was doing this on a discount because he loved the character in the books and the games. And they decided to shoot themselves in the foot and say, okay, well, Henry Cavill's not happy playing a character who's a deviant from the book. He leaves, and now they're stuck with Liam Hemsworth. Like, how the hell do you compare Liam Hemsworth to friggin' Henry Cavill? Henry Cavill, I did a video on this about 4 months ago. And Henry Cavill has been, in terms of money, profits made by his movies, it's in the friggin' trillions. Like this guy does movies, and yet other people, obviously, the Mission Impossible movie was a good movie in general. Had Tom Cruise, blah blah blah. Go and add up all the costs versus the profit for every single one of his movies, and you'll get an astounding amount of money made by this guy. So there's very few actors who have it all put together. They have the screen presence, the charisma, the physical presence. They're They come across as honest. They understand the relationship with the fans, and in his case, he loves the characters he wants to play. So I'm happy about that. Now let's. What else do I want to talk about before Steven gets here? We look around. There were 3 or 4 things I thought would be relevant that don't fit the theme of the show, but there we go. On a scale of things done right versus things done wrong, here's one that's done wrong. I mean, clearly Disney has bought into their left-wing political agenda, and they're just going to eradicate these characters that exist and replace them with non-European versions of them, right? Now, well, understand something, okay? You don't make more diversity by taking the same amount of stuff and dividing it among more people. That's making more poverty, okay? You don't increase the opportunities for minority actors, for example, by making them play characters that are white. You either use existing awesome black characters like in Marvel, I happen to like the Falcon. People say he's a second-tier character, but to be honest, so was Iron Man a second-tier character before they did a good movie with him. Had they not ruined the Falcon with this interpretation on the show, the Falcon could have been a pretty good, awesome character. Pretty good, awesome. That's pretty bad English there all around, buddy. That's an example. I know, Matt, you're not bringing up any other minority characters. What about Dawnstar? I just don't care enough about Marvel anymore to do their work for them. I just don't, because they suck. They've destroyed their franchise, and they're going to destroy it further by taking a character who has virtually no interest to begin with. Like, I happen to have liked some Wonder Man comics. If he's done right, he's kind of he's a flying brick, but he has a sense. When done right, he's in a sense of humor vein. He's really good. Okay, and I remember a great line where it's Wonder Man's giant size special number 1 or something like that, where he's an actor. He's really an actor who does superhero on the side is when he's at his best. And all of a sudden the Hulk attacks, and he goes to fight the Hulk, and someone goes, "Oh my God, it's the Hulk! You're gonna fight the Hulk! You can be." And he goes, "Big deal! Everyone fights the Hulk every so often. It's just my turn right now." And goes and fights the Hulk. It was just a humor line. But instead we're gonna change it. We're gonna race swap him. And they'll probably make him act like Blade. Why can't we get a solid Blade film? An awesome black character, right? Why can't we get that film? No, we have to. That's in limbo hell. But they're fast tracking Wonder Man, a C-level character, right? So this young black actor who wants to up and coming, they're basically giving him sloppy seconds with Wonder Man, a C-level character. And Disney is just going to keep doubling down on this until they go so bankrupt that people out there just stop buying Disney anything. Don't go to their stupid theme parks. I know that people will say, "Well, I like theme parks, so I'll go to them." You're feeding the beast. The feeding the beast wants to destroy everything you love. Okay. Got a couple other topics I wanted to sort of sound off on before. Okay, so I'll open up one. Oh, excuse me. So we had this happen. Look, the Sandman characters are Neil Gaiman's do what he wants. They were woke in the 80s when he did the changes to them, and they're woke now and so he wants to double square woke them or whatever. I don't like some of the changes. My biggest change isn't over. I have two complaints, okay, from a creative point of view. So the classic death that we know is death from the high cost of living. Death reincarnates every 100 years as a mortal and takes a day off and lives a mortal life to both get a day off and to experience the mortal life, right? So we know when she reincarnated as that teenage goth girl for that one day, and that's kind of how the Gaiman death has looked for decades, right? So, but that character hasn't reincarnated for billions of years, right? So having a different death pop up in a different form isn't a big deal. In fact, if it were me, I would have had death appearing in multiple forms. Every single like scene change she appeared in will be a different character. I'd have a whole bunch of like of celebrity guest actors playing death. That's what I would have done with it. Okay, but no. Instead, they go the sloppy second route. They take the existing goth girl character and let a black actress play her. And what's a black upcoming black actress supposed to do? She's gonna. So this is basically saying to this actress, you're not good enough to play an original awesome black character. You have to play this character who's iconically white. It's the only way you can ever break in. You can't do. There are no good black characters. We suck at making black characters, so we're gonna just do this with you. That's what they're doing here. If you're a young and up and coming black actor or actress, and they want you to do this, spit in their faces. Malcolm X warned us all about white liberals. Okay, they don't care about you. I mean, I'm not saying conservatives are necessarily better, but the white liberals, they want to use you for their power and to keep you on their plantations so they can have power over you, and they want to get everyone else on there as well. Okay, don't let them do it to you. Make your own awesome original shit. Do what Young Ripper did, As far as, however, my particular complaints about Sandman, that was one where instead of making a new version of Death or whatever, the other one, what they did with John Constantine. Now, they don't actually have the rights to the real John Constantine character, right? So, originally, they were going to have Johanna Constantine. Now, there is a character, Johanna Constantine, who's John's great-great-grandmother or something like that, and she's immortal. So, I'm like, okay. They're going to have Jenna Coleman play his immortal grandma. No. They decided they're going to race and gender swap John Constantine to be an alternate universe female, and I'm going to play that instead. So not only they spit on the character John Constantine, and they tell Jenna Coleman, you're not good enough to play an awesome character on your own. You got to play some white guy's character. Okay, they spit on the character Johanna Constantine, who was an original character. They could have elevated this B-level character into something cool. Instead, they said, nah, that female character is not good enough. They went with, and so I have no desire to watch Sandman season 1, even though I was genuinely interested in Gwendolyn Christie's performance as Lucifer, because Lucifer is an androgynous character. He looks like David. He specifically is supposed to look like David Bowie in his most androgynous period of the 80s. Okay, Lucifer's not supposed to have genitalia. That's another thing why I couldn't stand that Lucifer adaptation on Fox. Even though I liked the actor. The actor had a lot of the personality, not all of it. But had a lot of the Lucifer personality down. But the sex just drove me nuts. It just like Lucifer he doesn't have physiology. He's androgynous for a reason. He's not male or female. He's just Lucifer. There's no one like him, and that's his point. That's what he kind of harps on. He wants to be free from all responsibility, whatever, So I have no desire to watch season 1, and I'm not going to watch season 2. Now, let's see. There was 2 more things I wanted to briefly go over. I'll do a little Giants. So I'm a Giants fan, but I don't do sports videos on the channel. It's just, I've lost a lot of sports, and I don't follow the Giants. I don't follow football enough to talk about it in general anymore. Also, the Giants, I'm glad they're 6-2. I'm glad I'm going to live long to see one more competitive run with the Giants. Hopefully I'll live longer than that. But and the big thing here is this trade deadline. I would have liked them to have spent a 3rd-round draft pick and maybe gotten a number 1, but not an elite number 1. Just a guy who can catch the ball, who can make the defenses have to respect him. Because right now, there's no receiver on the Giants that the defenders have to respect. Because they either all drop the ball, or like Wan'Dale Robinson, he catches it, but he barely plays. So so the Giants have no chance in hell of winning a playoff game, as is. So we'll have a good season. We'll make the playoffs probably as the last wild card, lose, and move on. And hopefully next season the Giants make a move. Okay. And So on the Giants now, what else? There were two other things I thought about talking about before Steven got on. Okay, I want to have to do a whole video about the Henry Cavill Superman stuff because there's a lot going on with it, right? Hopefully, Steven will pop on. If not, I'll just talk for half an hour about the topic I was going to talk about, and that'll be that. What do we got? What do we got? Okay, so so I will do a video about this probably this weekend, but I'll recommend it. There's a horror movie from Neil Russell called The Lair. He's the guy who made Dog Soldiers and The Descent. Those are worth seeing. He also made the movie Centurion, which is kind of a dark fantasy / horror film. All three great movies. This was also not quite as good as Dog Soldiers or The Descent, but about as good as Centurion. So I would say go watch The Lair from Neil Marshall. You know. And also, you'll see in the background, I'll minimize it for you. Those are where are we? Those are images from Bleach episode, Bleach season 17, the 1,000-Year Blood War episode 2. They were flashing in the background when I did my Bleach episode 2 review. So I'm glad to leave them on for you guys. Look at this, Nell and Ichigo. I just love this new season of Bleach. It honestly feels good. You know, it just feels good to have quality, like unambiguous heroes kick the ass entertainment with a lot of and background characters who could be made interesting. Oh, look, there's Yahweh in his awesome power levels and stuff. You know, so watch Bleach. Okay, it's 11:01. If Steven's going to pop on, I'll give him a little poke through the Twitter. Right. So hopefully he'll pop up any second here. If not, like I said, I'll go on. So, what else to talk about? Man, can you guys hear my voice? The allergies are going crazy. I'm sniffling and sneezing and there's no there's no mercy for me. It's a freaking November and I'm like choking on allergy stuff. Oh my god. On Doctor Who news, I'll be on John and Roman Save the World tomorrow night, which is mostly with Roman rather, talking about Doctor Who and regeneration and favorite episodes and stuff. The Power of the Doctor sucked. I did a video on that, so it was truly horrible. The only entertaining part of it came because they basically sidelined Dr. Jodie for half the episode, so it actually became interesting. I gotta remember to book. I am gonna move this time slot. It's a little rough this time. You know, I might just wind up doing. I don't know. Tuesdays at like 7 p.m. or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think Tuesday at 6 p.m. might be better for me health wise. Because right after this, I pretty much have to go to bed. It's 11:03. At 11:05, I will talk about the topic for tonight. And if you know, someday I'll have viewers. Someday. I know I'm competing against Zach's random live stream, so I doubt I'm gonna have much of that in that regard. Live. Maybe some people will watch this on review on. Okay, so the topic for tonight is basically nostalgia versus legacy, old TV shows and new TV shows. What's timeless versus what's not. For example, my favorite TV show, The $6 Million Man, admittedly has not aged well. It looks like the 70s. It acts like the 70s. It sounds like the 70s. I mean, it still has enjoyable elements to it. But if you weren't into that sort of, 70s cyborg, the concepts in there, you might not want to watch it nowadays, right? But on the other hand, another show from the 70s, another one of my favorites, Kolchak the Night Stalker, that's timeless. I mean, unless you despise horror or whatever, that's a horror TV show that is watchable in any decade, even though you'll know it takes place in the 70s, early 80s, but it is timeless in the sense of like how well it's done for the sort of dollar store horror element. It's not like over the top horror. It's character acting horror with some decent little makeup, special effects and makeup. So I think that will be timeless. So now, what does that mean nowadays? What TV shows now are timeless? What TV show could you think of in the last 3 or 4 years, or 5 years that is so awesome that 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, you say, "Oh my God, this is amazing." The only things I could think of, which only had one season and probably might not get a second. That's such an excellent little horror show. The first season of what was it called? The first season of my camera might disappear. No, yeah. It was on A&E. Horror TV show on A&E. Oh. We'll do it this way. AMC horror TV show. No, it's A&E. A&E. The Terror. The second season wasn't great. It was okay. I kind of fizzled out on me. I watched the first 3 episodes, and it felt like I might be getting political. So I kind of lost a little interest there. But the first season of The Terror is great. That's timeless. There was a TV show that very few people watched from recent years. The Exorcist is as good as the movie. It was especially the first season, but both seasons were great. Stephen Choi, I think the guy's name, the lead for the second season, or one of the leads. He should have won the TV version of the Screen Guild Actor Award. How good he was in that role. So I think there is a lot more classical TV that is timeless than there will be TV now from the past 10 years that will be considered timeless. Because there's so much more dreck coming on TV now. There's so much more of, how do I put it? There's so many more outlets for TV with, all the cable channels and all of streaming services, and even I don't know if you guys look at broadcast channels, but like for every main broadcast channel, like NBC, ABC, whatever, they each have 2 or 3 high definition sub channels that also broadcast. So there's so many outlets for content now, and what's happening is, and this is the reason why a lot of subpar writing is making its way in. A lot of how do I put it? A lot of writers and programming that would never have made the light of day, or at best would have been some guy's college project or web video series, and now we're getting like first-rate TV show money thrown at them, and they're going, I mean, look at the writers for Rings of Power. Leaving aside all the other criticisms of it, those writers who did that show were C-grade writers, okay? Those people should never have been allowed near a major top level TV show. Regardless of what you think about the content of the Rings of Power, the people who did that show and should never have been allowed near a top level product. Like they should have found good woke writers if they want to do woke stuff, you know. So, I don't think Steven's coming on tonight, which is okay. You know, I'm a low priority. I am gonna move this stream. I'm not gonna go very long tonight. Maybe 10 more minutes, 11:20, 11:30, because I do want to. I'm not. Man, I'm stuffing my nose. My nose is so stuffy right now. But what else? What other TV shows like modern TV shows? Well, anyway, I was saying they are so like C team level writing and they're doing A level work, you know. And that's why we're not going to get a lot of timeless TV shows from this era, right? So what's next? I got these. My camera is reversed, so you're not going to be able to see the tiles properly. Unfortunately, Discord does not have a reverse button for this, right? So this is one of my favorite authors, sci-fi authors, John Ringo. Oh, he writes other stuff besides that. He publishes out of Baen Books. This is $100 worth of books, right? 4 $25 hardcovers. I got all 4 of them total for $18 used on eBay. And I think the reason I got them was because he's a right-leaning author like a lot of Baen Books authors are. And I noticed a lot of Baen Books used on eBay. I'm willing to bet a lot of these woke libraries are purging them, authors like that. And so if you're looking for books by authors, you know, Ringo, David Weaver and all, I would be looking on eBay right now because these were very good quality books. They have the standard library markups, and those fucking moron librarians who put the plastic covers on but use paste and so or and not either hot melt glue or some glue or just tape over the edges or whatever. You know, it's I don't know. Well, no one else is out there. I don't have much else to talk about, and I'm kind of tired. So I'm going to call it. This is Matt. This is Matt's been Unbearable 73. A little short edition of Grumpier Not So Old Men. You know, I'm not so grumpy tonight. Have